Hi, it's Kim McGrath from Expressions of the Universe with your June forecast highlights, stars, and cards for all zodiac signs. I will be time stamping this. This is going to be a good reading because I'm using multiple decks. And we're on approach to a full moon, the full strawberry or the full rose moon in Sagittarius. Super, super special for me. So I'm going to be a little self-indulgent in this. Let's get started. Let's dive in. So I have a lot of cards that I'm going to be using for the month of June, for at least, especially the first week coming up. Always have my moonstone. Oh, I forgot to put my crystals on. Moonstone, of course, for the full moon. The crystal or stone that I picked for this month, interesting, because I kind of wasn't expecting this, but it is what it is. It is obsidian for protection. Now, obsidian, it's like lava rock, lava glass. And that's why the picture here, it is for protection. You can use black tourmaline, any of those beautiful black stone, shungite, maybe even hematite. I do have a piece of obsidian. I know that I have a huge piece, like a tower, and I never can find my stuff when I randomly pick a stone. So yeah. Anyway, maybe this will make sense as the month goes on that we need a little extra protection. So immediately that says to me, we need to put up some boundaries and protect our hearts and our minds and our spirits from whatever incoming energy is happening. June doesn't really have the impact that the past few months have as far as planetary action is concerned. But the energies, I think, are still intense nonetheless. And yeah, so that's going to be my pick. I'll post more about this on Facebook and Instagram in the coming week with a channeled message. I do want to give a big shout out to Warren and Linda, friends and viewers of mine that I got a picture from my friend Linda, who is in my art club, of her husband watering the garden. They have huge, huge gardens, beautiful. Listening to my podcast from last month. And then he had messaged me recently, sent me some beautiful sacred geometry videos that I'll be sharing with all of you about the patterns, the beautiful geometric patterns that the planets make when they are doing their transits around the earth. I'm sure some of you have seen these, but they are just so incredibly beautiful. So stay tuned. I will be sharing more of them with you. But Warren had told me how his plants and the nature out where they live in Washington loves listening to my podcast. Made my heart so happy. It really did. So with that said, thank you, Linda and Warren. And that'll lead me to, this was the card. So I'm using a couple of different decks this week, which I'll get to after I do the astrology. But after I shuffled and cut the traditional tarot deck, this card was at the bottom of the pile. And I always take a peek at that to see, like, what's the underlying energy theme for all of us. And it's the Two of Cups, which is friendship. Maybe some of you want romance. Maybe that can be found within a very close friendship. But this is a bond like no other. This is like best friend, best friend zone. Yeah, I have a tendency to friend zone a lot of guys, and then they become my best friends, which I think is healthier for me because I get a little, I don't know, I'm not good at relationships, even though I'm dying for one. It's definitely the symbol of Gemini. You know, I love that. And so, yeah, this is the overall energy. It's about friendships and love and coming together in harmony and sharing and caring. I love that. So I'll channel that, post that on Facebook and Instagram as well. When I was shuffling the Wisdom of the Avalon deck, the dragon reverse came flying out of the deck. So I thought it was important for me to bring that in here. And this talks about power with the dragon. It's also North Node, South Node energy. We will be next month in July shifting the nodes into Aries and Libra. So I'm going to have to do really good blog and video for that. But with this, and it was definitely reversed when it fell out, it came flying out of the deck as I was shuffling. So that's saying to me, especially with this full moon coming up, because it's a really intense full moon in Sagittarius, fire sign that's similar to this dragon, that we really have to be careful about our power, overpowering others, our display of power. And it's kind of just talking more about the kindness and harmony. And so I'll explore this as well a little bit deeper and further and post on Instagram, but it really just makes me think about the North Node, South Node. Yeah. So I'll leave it at that. I know that it was important. Let's see what number card this is. It's number 24. So that does talk about our emotions to people, talks about our creativity, coming together, finding your tribe. And then it nets to a 6, which is about material abundance and wealth and knowing that we have enough and that we're always taken care of. So there's a big theme there, not having to overpower anybody for what it is that you need, specifically because there's always enough. And that's a great segue into the animal totem card that I picked for the month of June, which is Koi Fish Spirit. And it says there's always enough. So isn't that, it's kind of interesting, similar, a little bit similar colors, although with the fire, we have that water element here. This really makes me feel like Venus, and I'm going to talk big about that. This card will play a prominent role in what's coming up. It's card 36, talking about triplicity, the divine, the laws of 3, 6 again, material abundance, knowing that we have enough, netting to a 9, endings, closures, new path, knowing that you're on the right path, sticking to the path. And so the one way that we do push abundance or the things that we need away from us is by worrying about them or being fearful that we don't have enough. And so this is a good reminder. Stay tuned. I'll be posting more about that. Then my card that I originally chose yesterday to prepare for this reading from Colette Baron Reed's. Oh, yeah. So this is Colette Baron Reed Animal Totem. This is Colette Baron Reed's Shamanic Oracle. This is just a regular Rider-Waite tarot deck. And this is from the Crystal Ally deck. It's really old. I don't know who it's from because I lost that book like 10 years ago. But yeah, Vision Quest from Colette Baron Reed Shamanic Oracle. I love this. And the message, going to just read right from Colette Baron Reed, and then I'll channel the message, you know, sometime in the future on Facebook and Instagram. But this says for Vision Quest. Oh, and it's card 60. Once again, we've got that theme of material abundance, the lack of material abundance, knowing that we have enough, knowing that we are cared for, everything will show up in the right time. So here we have that theme. And this is all random. These are random picks, other than card flying out of the deck. So I think that that's interesting. And also, too, that number 6, June is the 6th month. Typically, traditionally, it's the Lover's card in the tarot deck, which is similar in a way to this 2 of Cups, but on a lesser degree. So Vision Quest says, in the Vision Quest, you face your fear, embrace your mortality, and then meet face to face with spirit. When we feel stagnant, a Vision Quest brings our lives into perspective. We realize our flaws, our potential, and the opportunities life is now offering us. We remain on a vision quest until we find the key to open a new door or to write a new chapter in our lives. The invitation is to find clarity by spending time alone in nature. If you live in a city, go for walks in a park. If you live in the country, make sure that you spend time outside in contemplation. Get off the couch, get away from your desk, go outside. Spirit helps those who help themselves. So set your intentions and ask nature for a guiding vision in your life. The medicine of this card says, Spirit has been trying to contact you, but received no answer. Are you too busy with your life and there's too much noise inside your head? Do not miss the call again. Make room for quiet time this month. Allow yourself to become bored for a little while, and you'll be able to hear the important message trying to get through. Which is interesting because when I was writing my notes for the astrology of the upcoming month, you know, and that's like a form of channeling within itself because I'm looking at the astrology and trying to interpret what I feel it will be. I know that that was kind of one of the sentences that I wrote was about, you know, like, I think for the full moon, about getting in the stillness. You know, for me, a lot of times walking in nature, no headphones, so that I can hear the sounds of nature, that active movement, but tuned into what the sounds are around me. That's like that's active meditation for me. That is being in the stillness. Because when I am moving and I'm paying attention to the sounds of nature, I'm not thinking about other things. I'm not worried about other things. But, you know, we all have our own techniques. Some people can sit quiet and still. I have too much energy. I'm a Gemini. What do you want? I can't sit still for a minute. So anyway, moving on. Let's see. So I'm going to pull up the slides for the astrology I'm going to give you the highlights for the month, chart for the full moon, a little self-indulgence, and then we're going to go into the cards. Feel free to look at the timestamps and go to, the cards if you wish. But as always, to me, the astrology is super important. And I will have to share my screen. All right, screen share. Okay. Oh, let me put it into presentation mode so it looks all pretty. So June highlights, the stars and cards. And I chose popsicles and with the strawberries because this is the full strawberry moon that's coming up. This photo just, to me, epitomized like the beginning of summer for me in the month of June. I love it. All right, so the June highlights. We start the month off. So this is really great. Let's celebrate. Mercury in Taurus is finally out of shadow. So as I'm recording this about a week early, we are almost finished. However, Mars in Leo is in conjunct quincunx Saturn in Pisces, so Mars is the planet of action, Saturn is the planet of restriction, and it's almost like they're in this disagreement, where Mars wants to move forward, but Saturn as the teacher, the father, the authority says, hey, hold up. There's still some things that you need to kind of lay down, put in place before you go rushing off into the wilderness. So we have that tension, between Mars just wanting to hit the ground running in Leo and Saturn like kind of holding back the lion by the mane. June 3rd, the full strawberry moon in Sagittarius at 13 degrees, 18 minutes, coming in at 11:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I do have charts for other time zones that I'll show you. The Los Angeles time is 8:42 p.m. The London, UK time is June 4th at 4:42 a.m. And I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you these charts because so that you could see where the house placements are. And we'll get into that in a minute. June 5th, Venus enters Leo, and that is so luscious. It's almost like Venus, the goddess of love, is chasing after Mars, the goddess of war and passion. But they never quite catch up to each other. But I would think that even from the beginning of June, things are going to start heating up. And that's why I just had to have a chuckle when the Two of Cups card was the bottom card of the tarot deck. Because I'm like, maybe some friendships turn into romances. I don't know. We'll have to see. June 11th, Pluto, which has been in retrograde, will move back into Capricorn. So, kind of putting Capricorns on alert. But what this says to me is You know, we want to go forward. We want to move forward in the world with new ideas and new visions, Aquarius, but we have to still go back and take a look at the shit show that we left behind. We're going to have to clean up a little bit of our mess. We're going to have to make some repairs. We need to go back and take a look at where in the world we really need to rethink some things and get it right. And I believe this is the third movement in that of 5 over the next 2 years of this back and forth. Pluto's going to be moving back and forth between the final degrees of Capricorn and the beginning degrees of Aquarius for 2 years. We're going to have to be like looking at that. So you ever think like when maybe if you've ever done any renovations or artwork, whatever, you know, you're starting a new project, but you want to go back and take a look at some of your old work, or maybe you're going back and looking over things that other people did to get new ideas to take with you into the future or incorporate them into your own renovations or your own art projects. I mean, I know that I do that. So I think this is a time for repairing, or at least looking at the things that need to be repaired in the world or within ourselves. Mercury enters Gemini. At that same time, Mercury is ruled by Gemini. And once Mercury picks up this momentum, things are so fast, because you'll see in only like 2 weeks' time, Mercury is out of Gemini and into Cancer. So like there's no time to waste. Our minds come back online and things start moving very, very fast. June 17th, Saturn in Pisces stations retrograde. So yeah, the bigger outer planets like Pluto and Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, when they retrograde, there isn't the greatest of impact because they really don't move so far, like the inner planets like Mercury, Venus, and Mars. So there really isn't a lot of movement. It just kind of slows us down. We do this every summer. All those big outer planets always go retrograde every summer. And it gives us that chance to like really slow down and enjoy the summer. Of course, I do have viewers and followers that are in the Southern Hemisphere. So they're coming into their winter. And that's also a time for slowing down and, you know, hunkering in. So we are slowing down, but just in a different way. It's a way to savor. That's the way I look at it. But Saturn retrograde in Pisces will be like a subconscious mind, like going back over some ground subconsciously, like in our dreams even. June 18th, new moon in Gemini. And I'm going to just blow through the rest of this because I'll come back in a couple of weeks with the mid-month, the mid-June highlights and talk more about them. But what's really huge, June 19th, Venus enters pre-shadow, getting ready for retrograde, and it begins at 12 degrees of Leo. And why is this so important? Because Venus rules our heart, it rules our money, it rules our values. And so this is huge. We're going to see a lot of echoes from the Mercury retrograde, I believe, that we're just coming out of. But you want to take a look at where Leo is in your chart. It's going to run from 12 degrees to 28 degrees from the pre-shadow June 19th through, I believe, October 7th. So this is a very long transit. It will have an impact on all of us and the world. But I'm going to look at that in a couple of weeks. or maybe in a separate video. Also, too, fixed signs of Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius will have the most impact, and also the Venus ruled sign of Libra, and it also rules Taurus, which is in that square. So those will be the most impacted signs. Then the 21st, we have the solstice, summer in the northern hemisphere, winter in the southern hemisphere, and the sun moves into Cancer. June 26th, Mercury will enter Cancer, and then June 30th, you can just about see it down at the bottom, Neptune will station retrograde in Pisces. So it's going to have a little bit of a double impact, emotionally, subconsciously, our dream world, our intuition, psychic abilities, because Saturn is in there. So instead of it being more free-flowing, it could be a little restrictive because of that. All right, so here we have the full strawberry moon. This is coming in from where I am. I put Philadelphia, PA. And here on the East Coast, all the way through to Mountain Standard Time, so nearly the entire United States anyway, it will be in the 5th house and the 11th house. And then when we get to the West Coast Pacific Standard Time, that's where we'll see a difference in the houses. I'll show you those charts in a minute. You can see here, we have a grand square. It's red because there's tension. There are oppositions, there are challenges, there are obstacles, but a lot of times these squares actually motivate us and get us up and off our butts and get us to do something about, you know, whatever it is that's going on in our lives. I'm going to segue over to my notes that I took. So we start the month off June 1st with this beautiful trine. You'll see the blue line between Venus in Pisces and Venus in Cancer and Pisces, Neptune in Pisces, the water signs. And what I wrote about that is that we start the month off bringing us an open heart, an open mind. We feel safe and protected. Our dreams are allowed to be created, whether it's the dreaming world of our sleeping or the dreams that we're creating here in the waking life. This trine allows our psychic intuition to be heightened and open to divine downloads. When we are calm, still, and not in a state of frenzy, we go into this full moon with this energy and connection, and it helps us to set up the release and elimination intentions for the full moon. So that's where the Vision Quest card came in. When I saw that trine, I was like, oh, we really need to get quiet. We need to get still. We got to get out of that frenzied mind of overthinking and just be quiet for a minute. Seek out the quiet. And even, you know, little moments of quiet are so beneficial. Then what I had written about this full strawberry moon at 13 degrees, 18 minutes, the grand square, major changes ahead to our thoughts, our lower mind, which is Gemini, the child just learning, just, you know, for the first time, starting to learn and absorb and can't get enough, to the higher mind, which is that of Sagittarius. It's a more divinely connected mind. It's more heart-based. It should be, but it is fire sign. It's ruled by Jupiter. And so when I look down here at the fourth house, Jupiter is in Taurus. This moon is so full of that frenzied mental energy. It needs to get grounded, but it's not making an aspect to Jupiter in any way. Well, you know, I mean, it's almost an inconjunct, but it's not. This moon is making an aspect to Mercury, which is what the sun rules right now. Mercury rules Gemini as well as Virgo, and that's making a conjunction to Uranus, which is that erratic, crazy, frenzied surprise. So I would expect the unexpected during this full moon, either, you know, just before or following. Looking at most of the United States, the surprise could be happening in the home, in and around the home. So the sun being in the fifth house speaks of that childlike inner child, finding joy, having fun. It is romance. It is romantic. It is creative. And then the 11th house of our friends, our friendships, everybody on the outside world, like bringing that together. But there's obviously there is an opposition. So it's like, I want to create my own personal joy, and yet at the same time, I'm being forced by the outer world. It, you know, like we have that opposition of, you know, maybe wanting to be alone, but needing to be out in the world. You'll also see there is an opposition between Pluto in Aquarius and Mars in Leo. You know, it's a wide orb, but that disparity in its first house, seventh house. So it's like, I think I wrote something. The opposition is between the self and who we show the world, or share what we share with the world, and all of our relationships. So there's that opposing energy. It's also square to the south node and the north node, both of them. That's where one of the grand squares is coming in. So it's like, oh, you know, how do I show up in the world, be who I want to be, go for the goals that I am, when I'm being forced by other people and my relationships? What needs to be eliminated? You know, there's that south node. That's also that dragon energy. I think that's why that card came flying out of the deck. So what also is interesting, so the sun in Gemini at 13 degrees is ruled by Mercury. Mercury happens to be in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, love and abundance. And then, like I said, this moon in Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, which is also in Taurus. So it's like, you know, the moon, the sun and the moon, although in Gemini Sagittarius, they are looking to that Taurus energy, the love, the heart-based, the values, how we value ourselves. That was the big theme of the Mercury retrograde. Mercury in Taurus going retrograde, saying, what is it that I value? How do I value myself? Where am I putting my values? How can I honor myself? Are my values based in material things or things that money cannot buy? We're getting a bigger picture of that. But as always, full moons are about releasing, eliminating, letting go of. And so I really feel like we're going to be searching our hearts, looking at all of our relationships. This full moon really says to me, whatever isn't showing you love in your world, in your words, or even in your own thoughts, it has to be eliminated. Really says whatever isn't love in yourself or how you show up in the world, or how you show up in all your relationships, or how your relationships show up for you, must be eliminated. And I gotta tell you, you know, I got triggered yesterday. A political topic came up, and I don't like politics at all because I feel that no matter who the politician is, they are a politician, no matter what side it is on. And I feel that they just do not care about any of us anyway. And so it makes me upset when people invest so much time in politicians, in politics, thinking that there's really going to be a change, because they're just serving themselves and the people that are paying for their campaigns, which I know isn't me because I don't have enough money to influence any politician. So unless you are a multimillionaire or billionaire, you're not making a difference. They don't care. They don't care about us. So we need some big changes. That's part of that Pluto retrograde going back into Capricorn. But I've already talked about that in old videos. All right, moving on. So here we have the charts for, I did London, UK. So you can see if I go back, we have the sun in the 5th house, moon in the 11th house. In the UK, the sun will be in the 1st house, the moon in the 7th house. Very similar to that Pluto Mars that we have here in most of the country. So we're still carrying that energy. We still have the grand square, just looks a little different. And then in Los Angeles, we are looking at the 12th house and the 6th house. So it's really about, well, you know, I just talked about 1st house, 7th house. So the 6th house is our health, our daily routine, the things that we do on the every day. It's the details in our lives. It is also small animals. The 12th house, that's more of where we become the hermit, where we hide from, where we escape from. It's large animals. It's also where we sacrifice ourselves for the good of others. Yeah, that's the base of those themes. It's like where we go off to be by ourselves. It's also institutions, hospitals, jail. It's also the 12th house is where we sabotage ourselves. It's also where we transcend to a higher purpose, like whereas the 6th house, that is like our day-to-day service to other people in the world. We're forced to be out in the world because it's work. It's also self-improvement. It's our mind and our mental capacity. So with that being said, here's my self-indulgence. So I'm going to go back, show you this moon, the sun and the moon at 13 degrees, 18 minutes. Gemini, Sag. This is my birth chart. And I'm going to move that down. This is my birth chart, and I was born a 13-degree, 28-minute Gemini, and I have the North Node at 1349, South Node of 1349, Gemini, Sag. So this moon is literally, it's 10 minutes off of my sun, and it's what, 31 minutes off of my North and South Node. So I'm expecting that this full moon is huge. It basically sets up my solar new year. And I'm like, normally I would be so excited about this, but I've been inundated with so many lessons. So what is it that I need to eliminate and get rid of? Well, this is my 2nd and 8th house, right? So this is about money and values, the money I make. 2nd house. It's my possessions, it's my skills. And then the 8th house, where my South Node is, the things, past life, and what I need to eliminate, get rid of, South Node and Sagittarius. Maybe it's limiting thoughts and beliefs about sex and death and actually having to let go of things. Other people's money, sharing things that, well, okay, we're not sharing anymore. We're not doing this anymore. And yeah, so I don't know if you can hear, but my dog is out on the deck barking, and it's driving me crazy. Do you remember when when I had all the dogs and they would bark the entire time I would be doing this video? So yeah, back on my self-indulgence a little bit. So this is huge for me. So not only am I having my solar return, but you know, this full moon, the full strawberry moon is, you know, sitting heavily on my 2nd and 8th houses. And here's the thing, if I choose to not do anything, the universe will do it for me. Speaking of which, I don't know. My mind went blank. So yeah, my solar return is coming. It also reminds me, it's like the anniversary of my mom's passing. I just get a lot of anxiety at this time of year because I don't like, for so many reasons. But yeah, the anniversary of my mom's passing, she passed at my birthday, which is also my sister's birthday. My beagle, my Barley baby beagle Brown, he was my Gemini twin. He was born on June 6th. He would have been celebrating his 9th birthday. But those of you who've been with me for a while, he passed. It'll be 6 months coming up soon. So although I'm doing great and everything, you never get over the loss of your dog, your mom. You just don't, so it's kind of, this is the first birthday in 9 years that I didn't celebrate with my Barley baby beagle Brown. So I know that's going to hit me a certain way. Maybe it's, because it's my values, everything. It's like, I know I need to let these things go a little bit more, like another layer, peel back a couple more layers of this onion that I am and allow that to go. And then just for shits and giggles, this is my solar return chart. So my chart is on the inside. Planets that are happening right now are on the outside. Look at all this chaos in the middle. Good balance of harmonious aspects, the blue and the pink, with just as much chaos, the red. But what stands out to me are the green lines. Those are the inconjuncts. The first one, and the heavier the line, the stronger the aspect. Mercury to my part of fortune in the 6th house of Libra. Maybe I just really need to rethink how, like what is valuable to me, who is valuable to me, and, start clearing my minds, clearing my mind, clearing my thoughts, but also, like it makes a wide orb to Neptune in Scorpio in my 7th house. And what that says to me is I do not see people for who they really are. Oh, Neptune was retrograde. I do not see people for who they really are. I think of people in the best possible way. I like to imagine, I guess, that people are as good and kind-hearted as I am. And then when I'm treated terribly, then it's like a wake-up call. And so this is really saying, open up your mind's eye and start to see people for who they really are, Kim. Like, it's time. Do not stop giving people the benefit of the doubt, because not everybody is you. And I refuse to accept bad behavior from anybody. I'm too old for that. I'm too old for drama. So can't bring drama and bad behavior to my life. So that's what that says to me. The other inconjunct is Chiron. Oh, the Chiron to the Neptune. So, personal wounds of the self directly related to what I do not see in other people. And it's like, I do, because my intuition sends up red flags, gives me these pings in my stomach. And then I try to be open-minded and open-hearted and see the good in everybody. This is saying to me, stop doing that, Kim. Take your first impression, that first intuitive hit, and run with it. And sorry for anybody that's going to be on the receiving end of that, but that's how it is. You can see that the sun is aligned with my sun. Mars will be in the 4th house approaching my own moon. So I think that there's going to be some action within the home. Venus will be retrograding in Leo at 12 degrees. So it'll be conjunct my moon. This could mean some new additions to the family. Something coming into the family, I would think, that my heart's going to love. I am going through my Saturn return. Saturn is at 7 degrees. My Saturn is at 16 Pisces, but it's going to retrograde. It's going to come in close. These are those life lessons about people and my friendships out in the other world, my intuition, my astrology business, my tarot reading business. And also too, let's see, the moon, obviously, because we're coming off the full moon, is at 15 degrees of Sagittarius. It's sitting right on my south node. So whatever it is, those emotions, whatever it is I'm letting go of, it will be emotional. It's going to hit me at my core, but it's got to be done. I'm going to stop self-indulging. Now, I stole this picture from Chris Brennan, and because it's just so good. He did such a great job on this slide about the Venus retrograde. So it gives us the lowdown. I'm going to go do a deep dive on this late in about a week or two, just to show you all how this Venus retrograde, who it's hitting. It'll be sextiling Libra and Gemini. It will be squaring Taurus and Scorpio. It will be opposing Aquarius, and it will be trining Sagittarius and Aries. And here's the breakdown of what it's going through. And we are going to have to become so heart-centric. Now, if you have, you know, any planets in any of these signs, this would be Leo, Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius, Aquarius, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, you will be the most affected. Get ready to put your seatbelts on because we're going for a ride. I think that's it. And that is leading us to the stars and cards for all zodiac signs. I'm going to stop sharing. Get ready for your awesome card reading that I have coming up. So yes, thank you for allowing me to indulge myself in a little bit of my own chart reading. The aspects have been so difficult for like the last year and a half. And things have been being eliminated from my life. You know, I lost my dog and my cat last year. And right prior to that, other animals, just like things are falling away that no longer serve. People falling out of my life that no longer serve. I think that this full moon is like a big push even further towards that. I could even say that I should expect some death, more death coming into my life, in my family, you know, because there was a really strong home energy in the solar return chart. And I do share a birthday with my sister. So I could expect something like that. And I feel like there's other energy, there's maybe new animals or children coming in. I don't know. It looks exciting. I'm going to stay hopeful. Before I switch over, so I put on these butterfly wing earrings. Couldn't find the other ones, so I figured I'll do the starfish. A little air, a little sea. Because you know I'm going to be hitting the beach pretty soon. It's that time of year. All right, so for the card readings, you want to pay attention to your sun sign, your rising sign, your moon sign, anywhere where you have a stellium or cluster of planets. Always helps to know your chart. And if you don't, I do have a tutorial that you can pull a free chart for yourself, very super easy, or request a reading from me. And you do need your time of birth for accuracy. All right, so are you ready? Are you ready for your stars and cards? Okay, so I'm using the Animal Totem deck from Colette Baron Reid, Wisdom of the Avalon from Colette Baron Reid, and traditional tarot deck. So you'll get 3 cards. Oh, but before I do that, I wanted to put out my astrology cards. Oh, that's crazy. To see what comes up for all of us. So I'm using my astrology deck. All the cards have been shuffled and cut. I don't know what they are, haven't looked at them yet. But interesting that the main theme for the month of June and the underlying obstacle is both the same card. It's the 3rd house, which is ruled by Gemini. How about that? It is about communications, technology, the neighborhoods that we live in, our close proximities, short trips, learning, knowledge, written word, spoken word, our thoughts. And so not only is that the big highlight, especially with this full moon, it's also our obstacle and opportunity this month. weird, just weird. So, and some of you know that the reason why I have two cards, I have two decks here. My Pomeranian, Oi, who, rest in peace, he had eaten the 12th house card. And I love this deck so much that I bought another deck, and I decided, let me combine the decks just so I could get that 12th house card. So this way, if anybody gets a double, then it means business, okay? So we have that Mercury energy with the Gemini energy, the two of cups that came up. And so, yeah, that I love. What is on its way out, interestingly enough, it's Aquarius, and Pluto is retrograde moving into Capricorn. What's coming for us? We're having to go back and look at some old things, put the future on hold and go back and look at some old things, just like I said. So are we rethinking, we retweaking with those Gemini third house cards? Let's see how it plays out in the coming months. All right, so we're going to start with Aries. And Aries, looking at the chart, you are surrounded in that third house energy. So you want to pay attention to your thoughts and your words and your mind, all of us actually. It's about your mental activity, learning, your siblings, communication. And I'm reading all cards upright, no matter how they come up. And this was reversed, but I just think because I turned the deck. You have wolf spirit. Aries, you tend to be a lone wolf. You go it alone. You are all about, you know, the I am, this is me, you know, trying to find your autonomy in the midst of everything. But this is saying turn knowledge into wisdom. There's that third house for you. Something has to end. Is it any negative thoughts, any negative self-limiting beliefs? Something in your life is coming to an end with the lone wolf. For some of you Aries, it could be the end of being single. And you have the Queen of Swords. This is saying, watch your tongue. Be careful about what you say, Aries, because it could snap back on you, get you into trouble, especially with this full moon house placement hitting your third house. Okay. Trying to make some piles that I can keep my little notes together here. Taurus. Taurus, very big concentration in the fourth house of the home. Could be the mother or the father, depending on which astrological angle you're coming at. Traditionally, it's the house of the father. Traditional astrologers will stick to that, tried and true. I interchange that with the mother or the father, depending on the type of household you grew up in. But it's your home, it's your nest. You've got the North Node, Jupiter, Mercury, Uranus, all in there. And you're squaring that Pluto and Mars. And not making any aspects to the full moon, but I would say that there's probably tensions in and around the home, things changing unexpectedly, something in your home base. And you have the lion spirit. And this is about standing with your chest up, your head up, proud, strong, tall. The lion represents strength. This says be generous of spirit. So Taurus, you typically are, and especially with Jupiter conjuncting the North Node in your sign, I would expect that you be very generous. Jupiter is shining down on you. However, you do want to watch your money. Don't be overly generous because expecting that you might get something back from it, because you may not. Spend your money knowing that once it's gone, it's gone. The owl comes up for you. And this is about wisdom. It is about the other side. It is about things in our dreams, in the shadows of our psyche, the shadows of the other world, the underworld. It is omens and messages that are coming through for you. So really pay attention. Listen to your intuition, pay attention to your dreams, and watch for the signs and the symbols. You're getting the 9 of Wands. Taurus, this is indicating to me that maybe you have been working double, triple, overtime, burning the candle at both ends, and it's time for you to take a little bit of a break, take a respite. It's like you're very weary and you just don't know if you have the energy and the strength to continue to go on. So maybe stay home, focus on the home, focus on the rest and the nest. All right. So that was for the little bulls. And Gemini, the twins. Some people say two-faced. But the twins, that's 5th house. It's about romance, your inner child, children in general, creativity, fun, play, new ventures. Love that for the Gemini. And your animal totem is sandpiper spirit. And that's all about getting out and playing. Stop taking things so seriously. It's time for you to play. When I see the sandpiper, I think of the beach immediately because they're all along the shoreline. It's time for me to get to the beach. You know, also too, in this photo, there are lotus flowers here. They grow in the mud. And so this is saying like you're finally maybe coming out of some heavy, serious stuff, or there could be some heavy, serious stuff around. And you want to remain light and playful because there's not a whole lot you can do. Resistance is futile. The swan, transformations are coming. I love that. So this is also trusting your intuition, trusting your psychic gifts, Gemini, and big transformation going from what you may have deemed as ugly into something quite beautiful. And then your tarot card is one of my least favorites. It's the 5 of Swords. I hate this card because this always, this just indicates to me a backstabber, somebody who thinks that they're getting away with something through their words. Like, look at the smirk on his face, leaving people wounded in his wake. I hate this card because it always says to me that somebody's lying, and I don't know. I just don't like this card. And it's like also saying to me that we can hurt people with our words. And so be very careful about what you say. And that's so much about what the energy is right now. Okay. Cancers. We're looking at your daily routine, the day-to-day details, your work, your small animals, the service that you're doing out in the world. This is very specific to your health. Venus is in your sign. And so that talks to me, you know, about the value. Sorry, I went blank. Where do you put your values in your day-to-day life, health and nutrition, and work-life balance? And at the gym the other day, I ran into an old neighbor's kid that he's not a kid anymore, but he said, "Oh, I'm so happy to see you at the gym because you know health is wealth." And that's what that says to me, Cancers. Dolphin spirit. I love it, love it, love it. It says this and that are true. So this is being of two minds sometimes. This is also saying to not be so rigid with your beliefs and another's beliefs. Good lesson learned yesterday for myself, even though I'm not a Cancer. But it says, you know, this can be true and this can be true. It all depends upon our perception. You know, the dolphin spirit also talks about the underworld. And even though it's living in this upper world, it's believed that dolphins carry our loved ones down into the underworld. Who's to say that that's not true, right? But this is really about being more open-minded about things that maybe you didn't believe in, or, you know, like didn't, you know, you're not doing, especially like with your daily routine, right? That maybe you need to try something new. Oh, burden is the card that's coming up. This is saying, like, sometimes if you shift your thoughts and your perception, you'll be releasing a burden. Something of your daily routine could be falling away. Something that is not working for you any longer. Get rid of that burden. Oh, and when you do, cha-ching, something of value comes your way, especially, you know, with Venus being in Cancer, something of value is being offered to you, whether it's a new job, hitting the lottery, you know, something that will be, well, like, you know, when I said health is wealth, something of great value is coming your way when you change your perception and your thoughts and your beliefs. Love that. Okay, so Leo, Leos, you've got Mars in Leo. It's on the 7th house. That is all about your relationships and how you're handling it. So for some of you, it could be steamy and passionate. For some of you, it could be really argumentative and combative. And so you're taking a look at all of your relationships under this full moon. The moon is in Sagittarius, so there's a trine there. It could be adding fuel to the fire. What I'm hearing is stay in your own lane, stay with the people that love and value you, because if you push your agenda outside of your circle, it's not going to work. The canary shows up as your animal totem, and this is saying sing your own song. But you may be singing it to yourself, because there are some people that just don't want to hear it, you know? But this is rewriting your own song, singing your own song, performing for the people that love and value you. The bee. I love the bee. You know, I have my bee tattoo. The bee always symbolizes to me enjoying the sweet nectar of life, taking a little bit of a rest, knowing that you can accomplish the impossible. It also says luck, industriousness, and sweet victory. You will have to work hard, but it will pay off for you in the end. Leos. What did I say? Hard work is at hand. You are going to have to put in the time and the effort for the sweet victory, Leos, especially since this is highlighting your 7th house of relationships. You've got to put in the hard work of your relationships and start thinking about the other. Okay, Virgos, little virgins, you don't have any planets that are hitting and really no aspects. Consider yourself lucky. So it's like, you know, you can exhale. The only thing that we have going on, your ruling planet of Mercury is conjuncting Jupiter and Uranus in the 4th house of Taurus. a sister earth sign. So that's actually kind of beautiful. So it's like luck and abundance coming your way. A surprise could be at hand. And you have the fox spirit. Whenever I see the fox, it's about being patient, waiting for the perfect time. It also says to be careful about a trickster in your midst. It says think on your feet, quick, but at the same time, having to be very patient. Foxes are excellent mothers that provide for their kits. And they're just such gentle, beautiful souls. And I think they're very misunderstood, much like a Virgo. The forgiveness card is coming up. And, you know, I've said it time and time again, forgiveness, it goes deep within ourselves of having to forgive ourselves for our misgivings, that of others. It doesn't condone that what we did or they did is okay. But you do have to come to a place of forgiveness and not keep rehashing what happened over and over and over again. It's time to heal from something that occurred in your life. And with it being in the 8th house, I mean, that just speaks to me about other people, things of other people's crap, other people's stuff, secrets. Could be intimacy types of things, because it's 8th house is like very, very, very close relationships, you know? So hopefully that will resonate with some of you. The Hierophant is coming up. And, you know, it is one of my least favorite cards just because of the religious connotations that surround it. But it is also spiritual wisdom. It is our beliefs, and it is about conforming to society. But I feel like with these cards, this is saying, hey, watch your back, rise above whatever happened here, and take a higher perspective of the situations. And so there could be a decision or a choice that needs to be made. You could be pulled in a couple of different directions. And this is just saying, don't get too preachy with your own personal beliefs and who you think may be right or wrong or whatever. Take the high road, be the bigger person in this situation. Okay, Libras, you too, well, you're trining the sun in Gemini. So that's giving you a boost of energy, but I feel like this could be a balancing act for Libras. You may need a little bit of a break. This would be a great time for you to travel or think about, you know, like planning a trip, going off somewhere, taking a respite, learning something new, possibly getting a new hobby, and be careful about getting entangled in other people's bull crap, because it could lead to a legal issue. Okay, so we have Rabbit Spirit. That is so lucky and abundant. I love when rabbit shows up because it is luck and abundance. How many of you, as disgusting as it sounds now to me that I'm an adult, carried a rabbit's foot with them? I had so many different rabbit's feet because they were only like a quarter at the 5 and dime store. I had them in all different colors. I love the rabbit's feet. I can even like remember rubbing them on my face, and they would have little toenails in there. So gross, right? And so sad. Hopefully they were already dead, but I don't think that anybody does that anymore, right? But it says now is a lucky time. And what's interesting, this rabbit, I don't know, are they wings that look like leaves? So it's time for you to take off. But I think for Libras, you need a respite so that you can take that leap. So a trip trip could, you know, sounds really good. A little vacation or time out. But something is holding you back. Restrictions ahead. Fear could be holding you back. Rabbits are very fearful. And so it's like, oh, I'm walking on this path. I started something new. I can't see where it's going. And I'm just going to freeze right here in my spot. That's why I think you really need to take a little bit of a break, Libras. Oh, it just seems like things aren't working out the way you want them to, causing possibly, you know, grief, sadness, despair. Get out of your heads, Libra. That's what I'm hearing. Get out of your heads. Go on a little mini vacay or a full-blown vacay so that you can reset all of this. Okay, we have Scorpios. Scorpios, this is also a little bit of a challenging time, specifically because the South Node is trying to wrap up its tenure in your sign. South Node is up in the 10th house of career status and goals. The father or the mother, depending on how you're looking at it. There could be a lot of pressure on you from the outside world, Scorpios. All right, so Beaver Spirit is coming up. That immediately speaks to me about building a strong foundation. You may have to start from the ground up, Scorpios. Now is the time to put in the work for your future, because that will bring immense joy. Also, keeping busy will give you much joy. There are a lot of squares. The square from Pluto, the square from Mars, the opposition from the North Node, Jupiter, Mercury, Uranus. You're in a pressure cooker, so you need to be keeping busy, idle hands, you know, the saying, idle hands. I think the busier you keep yourselves, Scorpios, the happier you will be. Oh, the Hermit. Now, it was reversed, but I'm reading all cards upright. The Hermit is saying it's time for you to spend a little time in solitude, take care of the things that need to be taken care of, and just like stay out of your own way, Scorpios. That's what I'm hearing. Stay out of your own way. It's time for you to do a big connection from heart, head to something higher and divine. All right, Sagittarians, this is your full moon in Sagittarius. In the 11th house, friends, groups, goals, aspirations, hopes, wishes, humanitarianism. But of course, with it being a full moon, it is about elimination. It is about, what am I releasing? What am I letting go of? And it all is up in the head. It's all about that mental, the thoughts, the words, the stories. They got to go. They have to change. And the bat spirit is coming up, which I love. I want to point out, although I didn't point out with the other cards, it is card number 5, which means big changes ahead. The bat is symbolizing a rebirth is assured. So that's very scorpionic to me, very plutonic to me. But this is saying that this full moon is going to bring about some huge, big changes in those areas in your life. Ooh, damn, the wasp is coming up. And it says, sometimes life stings. So these things that are falling away, they could be extremely painful. Don't like that. But, you know, we always come out on the other end so much better, like the phoenix rising up out of the ashes. But this also talks about anger, retaliation, and jealousy. And so are you the one doing the stinging, or are you the one that's being stung? This is really just saying to me that it's time to relook at some things about your own anger and retaliation and jealousy. All right, so the Two of Swords is coming up. And so here we have the blindfolded woman holding the swords under the moon. These are words and thoughts, the swords, choices that need to be made, excuse me. But she's blindfolded and she's under the beams of the moon, which, okay, that's Sagittarius right now. This is also saying to me, you don't see all of a situation, of all of what it was, all of what was spoken, all of what was thought. You're going into battle blindfolded. And so that's what I feel like this wasp is. If the card were reversed, the blindfold would be coming off. You would be seeing clearly. But right now, you're not seeing and thinking clearly. So this would just say to me, you better sit back, take a chill pill, and relax, because a change is needed and a change is coming. That was a little harsh. Yeah, I don't like that wasp card. Oh, and also too, the waters are very choppy, so it's emotional. So not only is it like my mental capabilities are cut off from me, I can't see what's ahead. I'm under the beams of the moon of deception or unknowing, and it's very emotional, choppy waters. Okay, Capricorns, the little goats. So we're talking about the 12th house here of solitude. It's typically the hermit. Institutions, transcendence, self-sabotage, hospitals, jails, all of the above, past life shit coming up. And I want to point out that what I'm feeling for Capricorns with Pluto retrograde back into Capricorn, there are some things that you're going to have to go over in your life and fix. This is not about starting new things. This is for probably most of the rest of the year, Capricorn. This is about you repairing or maintaining, like doing maintenance on things that are already existing. If that makes sense. And we have whale spirit coming up. This says, trust the great mystery. So it's like, I don't want to go back over these things, but you have to, because it will save you money in the long run to repair things, physical things that need the repairs. Stop ignoring them. Trust that you don't know what next year is going to bring. You're still in an incubation period, Capricorns, for like the next 2 years. Trust that this percolation, incubation, chrysalis period is exactly what you need so that in 2025, you can hit the ground running. The king is coming up. And so what I think about this, you are your own authority. You are your own boss. Do not let anybody power over you. Do not power over another. This is also legal issues, male energy, that yang energy, injustice sometimes. That's why I would just like kind of take a back seat, play it cool, because if you continue trying to push through the obstacles, you're only going to come up against this opposition. It's going to wind up getting you in trouble. The death card, things coming to an end. Things are wrapping up. And that's what this long, drawn out Pluto transit, the back and forth is. It's like, let these things go. Okay. You're going back to revisit. Okay. Did I leave any boxes in the attic that I can look through again and declutter a little more? What can I let go of? What can I get rid of? Either way, things are going to be removed from your life that are no longer serving. Aquarius. Aquarius, this is a big focus on the self-image, the face that you're putting out in the world. I feel like there is a lot of opposition, a little bit of argumentativeness. You're butting heads with some people. So you too may want to stay in your own lane and stay with your own tribe. This could just be, this is pressure cooker time for the Aquarians as well. But it is about like, watch what you're saying, because first impressions stick. All right. The snake spirit. This is talking about shedding old skin. It's time to heal some wounds, make amends. Really, it's a time for healing. And these squares make you so uncomfortable. The squares and oppositions make you so uncomfortable to show you what needs to be healed. What are the triggers? Who's triggering you? What needs to be, what and who needs to be eliminated from your life? Earth Fairy, because you're so in your head, is saying to me, get out into nature, take your shoes off, stand on the grass, stand on the earth, and get yourself grounded. Get out of your head. Stop overthinking everything. And again, so we have the 7 of Cups. Your mind, it's like in monkey mind mode, overthinking all the choices, all the options, over and over and over and over again, that you can't make a decision. So analysis leads to paralysis. I'm just going to stick with get out into nature, Aquarius, get yourselves grounded, because it's like there's a storm brewing, and you're going to be on sensory overload, and it's not good for you. Last but not least, Pisces, the little fishes. This is about what it is you value: money, possessions, your skills. How are you valuing yourself? You know, there's a lot of restrictions that you're putting on yourselves, Pisces. You're putting yourselves into a little box, I feel. You're not allowing your minds to expand and blossom. And you're just like shrinking into a little box. But this is also, I'm picking up the way that you value yourself is going to play out or affect every area of your life. So really start to take good care of yourself. You know, get into a healthier routine, value what it is that you have before it's too late. Eat well, drink well, get good sleep, get some exercise, get some meditation, everything in balance. When you start to put more value on yourself, then you won't be treated like a doormat either. The dog comes up. I love this card. It speaks of love and loyalty. Who is loyal to you? Who are you loyal to? And reciprocal, who's loyal back to you? This also can mean time for a new dog. This could be the passing of a dog for some. But it's also saying be loyal to what you love, be loyal to who you love, as long as it's reciprocated. And the truth comes out. So something that maybe, you know, some secrets that have been held back, by yourself or another, the truth will be revealed, especially in the sign of Mercury of the mind and the tongue. And that truth could pummel some of you Pisces. Ooh. So it could just be that you are so over a situation because you feel defeated. But don't let another defeat you. Don't let anyone take away your power, Pisces. Don't let anybody stab you in the back, defeat you with their words, defeat you with the lack of loyalty. But the truth will be revealed. Just know it could be a little painful. All right. I think I got everybody, right? Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes, I remembered everybody. I hope you enjoyed your reading. I will be back in a couple of weeks for the mid-June highlights. Talk more about that Venus retrograde and the new moon in Gemini. Yeah, so full moon's coming. Put your crystals out, put your moon water out, get ready to release. It's a great time for fire ceremony. If you are in the Newtown, Pennsylvania area, fire ceremony will be at Solutions for Daily Living on June 5th. I plan on attending that, barring no issues. And also too, so my wisdom for the week or for the month, it was interesting because I had to pause this after I did the astrology and make whipped cream for my daughter and take it over to her house for the strawberry shortcakes. I make like these shortcakes and strawberries for her barbecue yesterday, and she ran out of whipped cream, and she and her husband have been eating all of them. And I make really good whipped cream. And she had made pineapple popsicles, and I forgot to get some. So I made the whipped cream, and Bailey, Bay Marie, my dog, and I quick drove over there. She's only a few blocks over. And this song came on from the Smashing Pumpkins. And I'm like, this is a great theme song for month. And I wish that I could play it for you, but YouTube doesn't allow that anymore. But it was, I think the song is called Disarm. And I'm not even sure if that's the name, but it's the Smashing Pumpkins. And it is the lyrics, the beginning lyrics, disarm you with a smile. And so that's what the energy, the theme I want us to carry this month is disarming people with our smiles. Put that smile on, treat people well. Bad behavior will not be tolerated. Treat people the way that you wish to be treated. Disarm them with a smile. And I'm not going to, it is a really sad song though. It's quite depressing, but that first line, I love that. And I feel like that's what the Two of Cups was speaking to. It's about coming together in harmony. So I leave you with that little bit of wisdom. I'm going to get this ready for you, get it published, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy it in your last hours of this lovely 3-day weekend if you were lucky enough to have that. I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Peace, love, happy full moon, beautiful wishes. Ciao.